10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Live, Sega Nation. Welcome to Sega Live. I'm Lee Craft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. Over there up top, Mr. Dujanay Bland, host of the Not Bland Show. And down below is the voice of the Southeast Gassers Association, David Lancaster. Look, I'm ready to get back to some Southeast Gas Association drag racing. We did not intend to have this long of a summer break, and Knoxville was not enough drag racing, in my opinion, to get us with a full dose. So we're looking forward to getting back to it this very weekend at Brainerd Motorsports Park.
Indeed.
Going to be a good one. 74 cars, my last count. That was last night. There could be some more. So great car count, and what a great racing facility. Lots of history there at Brainerd, and we've been there several times in the past. So that racetrack's always well prepared, and it's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a good show, and it's going to happen rain or shine, okay?
Yeah.
From what I understand from Sega leadership, that we will race in the rain if necessary. We will put the racing rain slicks on, and we will race in the rain. Look, the fact of the matter is, the southeast of the United States of America, there's always a chance for a scattered thunderstorm, especially this time of year. And we might have that in the forecast, but I think we got plenty of sunshine ahead of us to get racing in. So be sure to turn out to Brainerd Motorsports Park. It's right below the great city of Chattanooga there in Tennessee, yet you're still in Georgia. So look, it's a destination place. Go enjoy some racing. Go enjoy Chattanooga, Lookout Mountain, Ruby Falls, Brainerd Motorsports Park. Look, plan it, go and enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a little bit, so I know people are starving for a little gassers racing, so let's do it, man. Let's pack this thing out.
Absolutely. And we're going to have on the show later on Leslie Horn, owner of the Southeast Gassers Association and current points leader in the A-Gas category, to clue us in on some exciting developments within Sega drag racing. But before that, David, we've got a very influential individual within the world of the Southeast Gassers Association, someone who has competed and someone who is instrumental in the high level of competition for many competitors in the Southeast Gassers Association.
Yeah, we got Jeff Jones of One Way Technologies out of Washington, Indiana, and it's going to be great to have him on the show and really get to pick his brain here, because Jeff and the crew out at One Way have really, really stepped up the technological side of our sport here in the Southeast Gassers. They've made a commitment to making more horsepower, and it goes back to Jeff's dad, Sam Jones, who was a very, very decorated racer himself, and one of the catalysts to get us to the point that we are, a friend of Quayne Stott's. So he was here from the inception of the Southeast Gassers, and he drove a classic 40s car as well, and just some wonderful things Jeff will be able to tell us about, and maybe give us an update on the progress of the 66 Nova that he drives, called Mama's Pie Wagon.
Yes, I've seen it in person. I wonder how far it has come along since the last time I was up there at One Way Technologies in Washington, Indiana, and look forward to seeing him back at the track soon enough. And you know what? He gave me a T-shirt for the Mama's Pie Wagon, and the thing always turns some heads. People like, Mama's Pie Wagon, with it on it. So definitely a good name, and it turns some heads, and we need it back out there in Sega competition. Well, at this time, we will shift gears here on Sega Live and wherever you are watching SEGA Live, hey, hit the like button, hit the share button, invite a friend in on the show, and dive into the comment section and let us know where you're watching from, and put in those questions that you may have for Jeff Jones, later on Leslie Horn, or the panel here on SEGA Live. The official racing transmission for Southeast Gassers Association drag racing, that is G-Force. Racing performance and also street transmissions, you need to check out GeForceTransmissions.com. We're shifting gears right now here on SEGA Live. This word from Ram Clutches that you need to go along with your G-Force transmission, and then Mr. Jones from One Way Technologies. All right, Jeff, welcome to SEGA Live. Great to have you on. Thank you, first and foremost, of all the support that you give to the Southeast Gassers Association.
Well, thank you for having us on, and we're just thrilled to be a part of what Southeast Gassers has become and is continuing to grow, and it's just it's exciting to be a part of this sport and to be able to participate in it as well.
Jeff, what is special about One Way Technology, and why people should be really looking at your product?
So we are a one-stop shop in regard of we can develop a cylinder head or an engine package. We can machine it here in-house and be able to just provide the whole package for someone if they desire that. And the unique thing about our company is I come from kind of the development side of when we were building a lot of engines for drag racing and for the World Outlaw Sprint cars, USAC Sprint cars, a lot of oval track stuff we were involved in years past. And us being able to do those things combined with the company at that time was called Weldtech CNC Porting. Kenny Weld was the man who started that company, who was the brother of Greg Weld, that you'd be familiar with, the Weld Wheel Company. Kenny was probably one of the first ones to develop CNC machines to completely CNC port a cylinder head. So how we got involved with them was it was becoming very difficult for me to keep up with the workload of hand porting all the cylinder heads. So Kenny was able to take, if I developed a winning product, that he could take that cylinder head, replicate it, and be able to mass produce it to get it to other engine builders. So later on, my now business partner, Chris Grace, bought Weldtech CNC Porting in 2013. And in 2015, we merged Jones Engineering and Weldtech to form One Way Technologies. So the unique thing that we can do now is develop cylinder heads for other engine builders, other race teams, and we do that. We do private label stuff. There's some people that will come to us and pay us to develop a part for them that is theirs strictly alone, that we just machined and for them. And we do private label stuff. But then, like with the Southeast Gassers, when Dad and I, when we built the wagon to compete in C-Gas, we were using parts that that was available like everybody else, and we just sat down with Quayne and wanted to know if we could develop a legal head to fit the rule set that he had in the gasser classes that we could produce and maybe make available, to someone else that might want to purchase that, other engine builders, other individual racers, to be able to do that and build their own package around that. So that's really what we did, initially for the gas classes, and then later on that kind of materialized into the super stock as well.
Well, Jeff, the development of that, I guess, where we are now, of course, Quayne gave his approval of that. And over the years, I mean, how many years have you been working at One Way to develop and get to where you are now with the technology?
Well, when I go back and all the way back, Dad put a grinder in my hand at about 14 years old. So I've been doing this about 52 years of working on cylinder heads. And so it goes way back. I was always hanging out in the garage when they were racing, and they were always taking engines apart, looking at cylinder heads, looking at colors of piston tops, and, all of those things. And I just became very interested in that end of things. And so he just told me, at age 14, he said, Jeff, we buy cylinder heads or do them ourselves from other people that provide cylinder heads. And he said, if you want to dig into this is the future of us being able to produce winning race engines, was to be able to provide our own cylinder head. And so I loved it. And I just dug into it and eat, drink, slept it, and it really turned into a business of its own.
And Jeff, since being in the Southeast Gassers, developing the cylinder heads for the Southeast Gassers, you had to do it to us, like you said, with Quayne's permission and approval, to
Correct.
His rules. How hard was that to adapt to get to the power that you're putting out now?
Difficult. So we've worked with Brodex on a casting to fit the rule set that Quayne had laid out. With the port height, at 550 thousandths from the deck of the head to the intake port floor. We put our own spark plug location in. We did things with valve center lines. There was just a lot of things that we've learned over the years through other endeavors that we knew we could do to provide a casting for someone if they wanted to port their own head, that we could provide something that would maximize the rule set that he had placed before us. And that's always been the challenge, of when a sanctioning body has a set of rules for you to work around is what can I do with this rule set to make this a better part than maybe you had before. So that's what we did. And we spent really, I say it's done. We're constantly, just tweaking little things that you learn after you've been developing a part for a year or 2 years. And now when I look back, I think what this is going on probably year 6 now or 7 that we've provided this head. And we just keep finding little nuances, to continue to make the thing better.
Now, you talked about giving people a package, possibly even an engine package. Some people have a great idea, and sometimes it's lofty, and they want to get to a point, but they don't know how to really put it all together. How do you guys go about helping an individual who has an idea and kind of formulating that idea and making it a reality?
So with all the different gas classes, that's another challenge in itself. We in C-gas mostly, those are small cubic inch engines. B's kind of medium size. A-gas, you start getting into the larger cubic inch engines. So at that point, you are in a situation where with each individual, you have to sit down with them, map out their bore stroke rod ratio combination that they have, and then try to formulate a plan with the rule set that we have to work around to make that fit the best combination that they are wanting to build. So it's really a fun time to do that, and it's a challenge at the same time to improve upon, what you've been doing.
Wow, what a tremendous amount of information you've given to our fans. I mean, we got fans in here in the chat box coming to us from Minnesota, there in your hometown of state of Indiana, and this reaching, worldwide. What a lot of our people don't understand or want to criticize the Southeast Gassers about is they say, well, this is not a motor from the 60s. Of course, it's not a motor from the 60s, but it is exactly patterned to the strict rules that are put into place.
Correct.
It may be an aluminum head, but it still has to fit the 1967 rule package that we put together in the Southeast Gassers.
That is correct. So that was one of the things that Quayne was really a stickler on, and that's been a mainstay, and it's been very good for the whole organization to have that rule set that this cylinder head is based on what the 1955 265 Chevrolet was birthed with. It's an inline valve. It's a 23-degree valve angle head that with the rule set that Quayne come up with, we can move the ports a little bit and do some things with valve centerline, but it still is, if you look at it, the valve cover, you can bolt a stock valve cover on it right off of a 1955 car, so those things still remain very, very strict, in what we're allowed to do. And that just makes on our end, much more of a challenge for us to continue to improve upon the product.
And Jeff, I'm sorry, Dejeuner, if I made just one more statement. We have seen Todd Oden bring in his SEGAS car that won the championship. You were the motor provider there, and consequently his son Michael. Those guys are full time with you. You're building that motor from the manifold down, I'm assuming. I mean, what kind of feedback have they been able to give you to help you develop and, consequently lower ETs?
So with those guys, it's been great working with good people. When you have good feedback, then that allows you to start making some changes, not only in the dependability factor. That's probably one of the things that we're working with more now is the RPM ranges that the engines are running in with the restrictions that we have with wet sump oil systems. We're not allowed to use a dry sump system. So that's a set of problems all in its own when you start having, 10,000 plus RPM engines in keeping the engines alive for these guys to be able to go race and not have to have the motors apart every other weekend. And so that has been very good, having those guys give us feedback that when we dyno an engine, you guys was talking earlier about how hot it is. Like we dynoed Michael's engine there, I think it was on Monday, Friday, I guess it was. And, we had 130 water grains. It was 3,500 feet of air in the dyno room. You couldn't hardly breathe, and so whenever we are able to dyno in conditions that guys are racing in, and then when they go to the car and we verify that what we're seeing in the car is on the engine dyno is working in the car, then that allows us to start looking at, can we do something different with the camshaft to try to maximize somewhere else, in the RPM curve to pull the car better. So with those guys giving us feedback on track, from what we see on the engine dyno, it just allows us to have the freedom to try a lot of other things.
Do you guys also do Volkswagen heads?
No, we don't. That's one thing that we have not done. We've done a lot of different stuff, but that's one we have not done.
Okay.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to bring up a photo. Let's talk about some of the racing heritage, in particular in drag racing with the family. So give us the breakdown on this hot rod and the wins and significance in the world of drag racing.
So this car is really what kind of started the whole thing. Dad started drag racing in 1955, and he had a 55 Chevy that he raced, and him and his drag racing partner at the time, Dale Moody, they got together. They was both racing individually and got together and they found this coupe. This is a 37 Chevy coupe, and they decided they wanted to pile everything together and build this car. And they competed in NHRA early on. You know, I think they started campaigning this car in 1961. In 1962, I believe this car went undefeated. Back then, they classed a lot of stuff differently. Like there was junior eliminator, there was middle eliminator, then like the what we would now term top fuel cars. I think they called that top dragster, top eliminator, and so they competed in junior and middle eliminator with this car. It was a 331-inch supercharged car. In this class, SEGA supercharged is what they ran. The car had to weigh 4,200 pounds. So it was a sled. And of course, in those, you know, in that time area, I don't know, I think over the years that they campaigned it up through 1965, late 65, they set, I believe, 21 national records. Won the U.S. Nationals in 62, 63, 64. Won the World Finals in Cordova, I think twice, and just various things, you know, that they was able to do with that car. But that really was the start of what became Jones Engineering later on, you know, for Dad and I. As I was growing up in this as a little kid, I'm, you know, going to all these races, and that's all I wanted to do, was be able to race. And so I was very blessed and privileged to have the opportunity, you know, to do that with him.
And Jeff, with that stated, again, that pedigree lineage, if you will, going all the way back to that great car and those people involved in the wins, the accolades, the brand that we understand as One-Way Technologies now, well, it goes beyond drag racing, and there are some great names that the products that have gone out of your family shop are connected to and with in other form of motorsports, so that if people decide to, well, run One-Way Technologies technology, they are certainly running with some of the top dogs of the pack, no matter what form of motorsport. So give us a rundown of some of the top names that have used One-Way Technologies.
So as the drag racing, as that began to change in the 70s, early 80s, and we had a modified eliminator car that I ran, and I think I finished up in 1980. And we started having some local guys come to us wanting us to build sprint car engines. And we had never been involved in anything like that. And boy, was that a learning curve. So we was taking all of our drag racing knowledge, putting into a sprint car engine, and they would go fast for about 5 laps, and then they would throw pieces everywhere. And so we began to have to learn how to make engines survive and develop power. So that opened some doors for us. And this is a story I'd like to share if I could, that not many people probably know except would be close to them. So Carl Kinzer, who was Steve Kinzer's car owner and crew chief for many, many years, and Dad were close friends. And Carl was actually a drag racer. He ran a B-gas supercharged car. And they knew each other from back in the early 60s, and Dad at times was able to outrun Carl heads up in a class higher car. And so there was a respect that was gained from the early 60s with Carl. And it would have been about 1985. So we'd been building some sprint car engines, some dirt late model engines, and was starting to get a little bit of steam going there, you know, and Dad just told me one day, he said, you know, whenever Carl comes through our door, we will have an opportunity to really move our business forward. And so it did happen that in 1985, Carl brought a couple pair of cylinder heads to us and wanted to know if I could do anything with them. And so we did, and Steve went better. So beginning in 1986, we started doing Steve Kinser's complete engine program. So we did that all the way up through the year 2000, and many other things come away from that. We started building at one time. There were Dad, myself. We had Mark Cummings that was working for us. There was one other guy that would help us occasionally, but we were servicing 6 World of Outlaw teams. So these teams, they have 6-7 engines per car, and it was just crazy that we were doing that in a 30 by 50 building, servicing all these World Outlaw sprint cars. And that's where our cylinder head development really took off. We were allowed to do a lot of things. Cylinder head companies were wanting to make changes with their cylinder head castings to accommodate what technology was coming, that we kept moving the ball down the field, so out of that, we began to do some 4-cylinder midget car racing engines. And the first guy that we actually worked with there was John Andretti. And when John went to IndyCar, the guy that filled the seat, Raleigh Helming, was a car owner. And I had told Raleigh, we had been to a sprint car race, and I watched this young kid. He was about 15 at the time. I said, you need to get a hold of his parents and put him in a sprint car or a midget. And this guy's name was Jeff Gordon, who we know what he turned into. So we was able to work with Jeff early on in his career. And when Jeff vacated that car, he became a USAC champion, and went on to Cup, and so Tony Stewart filled that seat whenever Jeff left. So we was able to work with Tony then through I think about 3 years. We've worked with Dave Blaney. There's Kenny Schrader. There's so many. I can't even remember all the guys, that we've been very fortunate to work with. So in those people that we was able to work with, the feedback that you get with good racers helps you develop your product better. It never fails. And so we've just been very blessed and fortunate to have great people to work with.
All right, Jeff, before we let you go, let's talk about this hot rod. And is it off the jack stands yet? Are you any closer to bringing this car back out to competition? And from what I have watched, when it was in competition, you were a top-notch racer, and this was a hard car to beat.
Well, I wish I could say that it was in a different form, but it's not. Our business it's just been so crazy trying to keep up with the workload that we have not been able to complete the car. We had a lot of just family illness and different things, that we have dealt with the last 2 or 3 years. And so that kind of has been back burnered. We definitely want to get the car out. But one of the things that, looking at where the competition has gotten to in the last year, but the last 2 years, it's almost like we're going to have to strip and start over, to be able to feel like that you've got stuff to go out and compete again. So looking forward to do that, and we're going to, just not sure when.
Well, it's definitely good to have good business. That's for sure. That is something that is not always easy to come by. So, and you being busy means that the product speaks for itself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Jeff, we look forward to seeing you at the track anytime that you're able to make it. And get out of the shop, even though it's busy. Get to a Southeast Gas Association event. And we look forward to seeing you at the track. And I'll definitely next time, well, maybe not next time. It's a pretty busy trip next time. But in another time up through Indiana, I'll stop in. We'll get some more content and keep telling people about the one-way from One-Way Technologies.
Well, we sure appreciate everything, Lee, that you're doing, and David, and all of you guys. Leslie, just keep on keeping on, and it's a great sport. It's a great family sport. That's the neat thing about going to a SEGA race. You can go up and talk to the drivers. I've watched, guys, little kids, come up and, hey, can I sit in your car, and put them in the car to take a picture. And just that atmosphere that is created there that's tremendous in itself. And we're just so blessed to be able to be a part of it and thrilled to be a part of it. So continue on.
That will do. Jeff, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I guess go work on some more heads.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, Jeff.
Jeff Jones with One Way Technologies, folks. I've seen the shop in person. I've seen the rows and rows and rows of cylinder heads and what they're doing in that facility. If you need help with your head case, in this case, with your motor, with your engine, whichever one you want to go with, well, One Way Technologies, they understand it. I mean, they understand it from Toyota to Chevrolet to Ford, just about everything. He named names that have made significant marks in the world of motorsports. Like, you're going to say that, oh, I'm not going to run the stuff that Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Steve Kinzer ran. Like, are you so stuck in and darkened in drag racing that you don't understand what that means? Wow, come on. So he's specifically, they've got things for Chevrolet motors for the Southeast Gassers Association, but they're working on other things as well. And don't think if you've got a different combination that they are not able to improve your combination. They can do that at One Way Technology. So reach out to Jeff Jones and the gang there and get some work done. Well, we're going to shift gears once again here on the show, brought to you by G-Force Racing Transmissions, as we look ahead to the Rumble in Ringgold, the Southern Nationals, presented by Harbin's Mechanical Services. They've been kind enough to sponsor all the racing this year in Georgia. So after this word from Summit Racing, we're going to have Mr. Leslie Horn on. He's going to clue us in on some things to look forward to this weekend there at Brainerd Motorsports Park. Summit Racing Equipment. From the store, the catalog, or online, you can get your street rod, hot rod, personal ride, and even race car, including a Southeast Gassers Association ride, ready for action. Build with Summit Racing Equipment. Leslie.
What is going on, guys? Man, it seems like it's been forever since we've made it to the racetrack. I'm ready to go, son. I mean, I can't even hardly sit still. I'm so ready to go. I got a few phone calls today talking about this rain. Man, when we don't have a chance of rain during the forecast here right now with all these thunderstorms, we're going to race this weekend. We're going out there. We're going to put it on. I'm telling you, I can't say a whole lot about what's going on in C gas and B gas, but I can tell you A gas is getting nasty. I mean, we got some of these boys coming out with new power plants. And Ben, I know you're on here, and I'm sorry if I say this, and I don't need to, but I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it for you. He's got his new Jason line bullet in there, and I'm proud to have Jason even taking the time to put a motor together that will come and run with us at Southeast Gassers. I'm super excited about that. We've got Barry Adler been putting down some crazy numbers in the heat at Greer the other day that he don't know that I know what he run, but they was really, really good in 90-degree weather. We got the Joker, done hired a guy that done IndyCar engine building, works for him full time now. They done pulled his engine apart, changed all kinds of stuff in it, so he's coming out with that thing. We got Chase Howard got his new Fulton power plant in there. He's run it one race. He's been working on that. They've been doing some testing. Super fast. Y'all seen the last race that we was in, and him was in the finals. He happened to believe a little bit late on the tree, but the number he put down would have gapped me by a long way. So he's coming along with that. You know, on top of that, he's got Scotty Cannon of all people helping him tune it, get it down the track. I mean, it's a lot of exciting stuff coming to A-Gas, and man, a little bit more exciting news too. Lee, I might not all let this out of the bag right now, but there's a slight chance that we might be live this weekend. You know anything about that?
Slight chance.
That's what I was thinking. There's a slight chance of that. And guess who else is going to be joining us this weekend to help out? Mr. Dugenay. Dugenay is going to be there. David, I can't even say nothing. David's not going to be able to make it. His work's not going to let him get there this week. He'll make it to the next race. We miss David when he's not there. But I'm ready for a good race weekend. And man, I got to say one other thing. I jumped right in talking about AGAS, but man, that interview with Jeff Jones, if that don't get you excited about racing, to listen to just that, I mean, that was 5 or 10 minutes there. And for somebody of that caliber to put forth the effort that their company does to put heads together for us, for SEGA, and he was a little modest. He holds the record right now in C and B, both classes. He holds the record in. So, and he could hold a record in A, Mr. Jeff, that old head we've been talking about for quite a while. We need to go ahead and get that thing on the front burner. But anyway, I'm just glad to have him here. I'm glad that the stuff that they do, and man, all the sponsors, man, I mean, that just continue to hang in with us, and just hate that we hadn't been able to get the races in this year. It's been brutal on us, man. And these sponsors, they just keep stepping up, keep helping us. You know, we got Ram, we got G4, some. I mean, I can sit here and name just tons of them. Just excited, man. I just took over the show. Y'all go ahead and do it. I do it every time, and I don't mean to. Y'all do y'all.
Seems like all we need is a whoo after all that.
Woo,
ready for in-ring action.
Oh, and I miss him too. Lost him last week. Or this week. Last week. Yep. Old Ric Flair.
No, we lost Hulk Hogan. Flair's still
Hogan. Yeah. I get them all mixed up.
Flair's going to die now, Leslie. Thanks.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
We lost Ozzy. We lost
Ozzy. Yeah. I lost a cousin last week. It's been crazy on that, but you know, it is what it is. That's the reason why we got to go to these races and have fun now. These races, it don't matter who wins or whatever. You got to get out there and do the stuff to make these memories. I've been saying that. That's what it's all about. It ain't about who said this and who done that and who posted this on Facebook or who made this comment or whatever. At the end of the day, it's about all of us getting together and having fun, making these memories. But that's what we're going to take what's in that box or in that jug whenever we go in it. So that's all you can do. So let's get out there. Looking forward to seeing all 25,000 y'all this weekend. Y'all come on out.
You know, speaking of making memories, Leslie, and talking about Jeff Jones and his dad, Sam Jones, back several years ago, we were going to Indiana, to Lyons, Indiana, for the race at Brainerd Motorsports Park. And I began to develop along the trip. Richie Pugh and I were traveling together, and I began to develop some problems, some health problems, and come to find out, my face started drawing, and I had Bell's palsy. I didn't know it at the time, didn't know it till I got home. But when we got to Lyons, Indiana, we got out of the car, we were met by Sam Jones. And when Sam Jones saw what was going on, he knew what was happening with me. And I never will forget, this man laid hands on me and prayed over me, showed me his heart, showed me what he was all about. Rather than just racing, racing might have been the vehicle to introduce us. And I've been told many times that I shouldn't have gained recovery of my face or my being able to talk or anything because of the amount of time. I didn't go to the doctor till I got all the way back home from the whole weekend of racing. But Sam Jones is a man of God, and his son Jeff the same way. We've the Jones family has lost Sam and lost Marilyn, but that's some of the health concerns he was talking about. But what a family. Like you said, getting out to the racetrack, making memories. We saw that so many times in the Southeast Gassers where, I mean, we've even got boys and girls that grew up together at the racetrack who are now husbands and wives. I mean, making those memories and sharing those experiences. And Sam Jones and that experience there is one I'll never forget as long as I live.
Strong stuff.
Leslie, you know, you mentioned AGAS, and well, things are certainly ramping up in that category. You may not be on top very much longer with those that are heading to the track this weekend, but there is excitement elsewhere. AFX continues to gain momentum. We're going to have another car added to the portfolio of AFX this weekend, and I think it's one that, Chrysler people will rejoice over.
Yep.
There it is.
That's the former car of Robert Peffley. Peffley, a Dodge man, and that, of course, the living embodiment of that, going to be making its debut this weekend in AFX. And again, the car count's coming up. I mean, you look at CGAS, AFX right here. We got another, person buying this car from Robert Peffley, joining our ranks. I mean, things are really looking up for the Southeast Gassers as far as the quality and depth of the fields that we're putting together.
Absolutely. Randy Jensen going to be piloting that hot rod. Looking forward to it. AFX certainly growing in popularity. HGAS, very popular. And I really wonder what others beyond Colby Welch have been doing in this longer than thought to be summer break, and how much horsepower has been found over this break going into Brainerd Motorsports Park. Because I doubt Robert Frazier, Mr. Loudermilk, others are going to just let Mr. Welch walk away with this thing.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, this talking about the car count now, David, is last count, I think 74, 73, 75 range. And I know if I've talked to 2 people today that said they're possibly coming Saturday, so we could mess around and bump 80 before it's over with. And as long as these people don't let this weather forecast mess them up, and I tell everybody I was talking to Dean Jonas at lunch the other day, and he was talking about the weather, and I said, hey, on my app, it says it's like a 0% chance of rain. He said, what app do you look at? I said, I look at the promoter app. And I said, but the racer app that you look at, the racer app you look at always 70%, and the fan app that they look at, the fans is 90%, but the promoter app's always 0% chance of rain. So y'all just come on.
Well, mentioning that, the forecast right here, Friday and Saturday, they basically say a blend of sunshine and clouds with a thunderstorm. I mean, that is about as broad as it can be.
Potential with a potential thunderstorm. That's
it was worse 3 days ago. Like each day, it's gotten less and less, and now it's just like, all right, you might have a thunderstorm, you might not.
Yeah, 30% chance. That means we 70% chance we racing. So rock and roll.
Right. I mean, this is meteorologist.
Yeah.
Where else could you have a job and make that kind of money and be wrong as consistently as they are?
It'd be hard.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong business.
Look, just show up, and if you've got to leave the track, come back, go enjoy Chattanooga or something. We're gonna get the racing in. It's gonna happen. Okay, folks, just show up.
We're going racing this weekend. Just like I said at Knoxville, everybody told me I was crazy when I told them we was going to get it in. We got it in. How much time do we have left, Lee? 3 minutes? 4 minutes?
Oh, we did. I mean, we were doing interviews in the rain.
I know. So that was what, 3, 4, 5 minutes, it started raining on me, So I think you got the interview in and B and C and B. And anyway, when it got to me, it was raining on me. So I remember that.
Right.
Well,
absolutely, Jimmy Powell.
Leslie, I don't know if you've seen in the chat box down there, but Mr. Christopher told everybody here in the chat box that the rubber's about to meet the road in A-gas, and you're going to be left behind in the dust.
Okay, I've heard that a few times, but listen, hey, I ain't gonna count them boys out. Them boys is working hard, and like I say, they got some big stuff coming, and talking about Jason Line, he's well known in the industry, and people don't understand what it takes to build one of these natural aspirated engines. It ain't just pick some parts off a shelf and throw it together and go. But there's a lot of time in these things. And so when you get giants like Jason Line that would take the time to do one, John Causey, Fulton, the people that just put forth the effort, they do it for the love. They don't do it for the money. And so I appreciate all of them. And I won't. Here's the thing, I won't Ben to do good. I want every racer out there to do good. If they outrun me, I know they probably went the fastest they ever went in their life. So I look for them all to do good.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jason Line won the Hemi shootout. And with that being said, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say Ben Christopher gets the win here this weekend. This guy's been long overdue. It's been right there. It's long overdue. It is the debt is going to come and be paid this weekend. That's not a prediction, ladies and gentlemen. That's a spoiler.
I understand that too, but I don't want to put that pressure on him either, because I want him to do good. I'm telling him every time I generally am pulling for him, and I'm gonna be excited for him when he finally does it too. Because he has been there. I don't remember how many times. It's been a couple of times that he's been me and him in the finals, and I've come out winners. So he owes me probably one or two, I'm sure.
Well, Leslie, look, to your driving credit, the last event at Knoxville, you were not the fastest and quickest car, but you drove to a win each and every time. So to Barry, to Ben, to Chase, to all the other competitors out there in A-Gas, it's not impossible to get around you, but you need to leave first. It's that simple.
Yeah,
that's simple.
Well, a squirrel gets a nut every now and then. I got lucky there for 4 or 5 rounds is what happened on that. So it just so happened it went my way each time. I really hate it for Chase. I was kind of looking for that final, and I know Chase something just messed up, and it's happened to all of us. It happened to me a year or so ago at Ohio. Something it does a blink of an eye, and you can't give none of these cars. I mean, you can't give none of these cars a hit. We're not talking about giving them no 10. We're talking about just a little bit. I mean, a wiggle. I mean, you can't give them. It's just hard to run them down, and and it goes for about everybody in A-Gas. If when you plug it in fourth, if you ahead, it's gonna be hard for him to pull around you. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter me, Ben, whoever. If you nosed out when you go to fourth, they're out of real estate and out of time. They won't hardly get there. So.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Barry too, man. Guy's been working hard to get the car to respond. It seems like from what Leslie's talking about, he's gotten that car to respond, and I'm really looking forward to see what he can do this weekend as well. He's due for a good outing here. They've been working extremely hard on that race car.
Yeah, I was really shocked. I tell you, and I've even told Barry this talking to him. At the first of the year, if they'd have told me what numbers he's run, I'd have laughed at him. If he'd have told me he's going to come out, I don't care to say the numbers. If he'd have told me he was going to come out the first race of the year and run a 30 flat, his second pass down the track, I'd have bet whatever. It's no way. And he's far exceeded that right now. So he's something to keep an eye on. And he don't have a whole lot of seat time in this gasser. He's probably not made, golly, 8-10 passes in that car. Passes in the race. So I look for him to be a very big spoiler to jump in there and really turn some eyes. He was my closest race at the last race. I think I win I don't care to say, I win a 29-3 or 5 or something to his 29 flat, and I outrun him, and it was close. I think I posted the video on there. It was a close run. And then Ben, he done all he could do too. He just gave me a little bit too much on the tree. He had my old backup motor in his car, Old Faithful, and I knew that thing was going to roll. And I was really worried about him coming back up and catching on to me there at the finish line. But I think he went a 27 to my 29 or something like that. But it was close too. I mean, it was so close. I don't even remember what the distance was. But mine and Barry's was really close. It was like 004 or something. I mean, it was real close. Me and Barry. I think me and Ben might have been an 012 or something. But it was close. It was good racing, but it was just some days it's just your day. You can't do nothing wrong. Some days you can't do nothing right. So I got lucky and got around them boys at that one, and they give it to me. So they can't give them to me, and that goes for all of them. You can't give nobody nothing out there. So I was talking to Wayne today at lunch, and I said, these boys are coming with these big power plants. I got the same old wore out rusty car that I've had forever, old wore out tired motor in it, and they just come out there picking on me. It's just gonna make me have to be a better driver. Is all I can tell them.
Well, and this all too true. You can have all the horsepower you want, but you got to get it down the racetrack. And I know you got Brian Harris in your corner, and he's been doing a great job for you. But, like you said, Scotty Cannon out there helping out with Chase Howard. You got a lot of great guys out there, and that's not lost on our fans. Like Mike Biederman, that's what he said. He said, you got to get it down the racetrack, get it from A to B.
Yeah. And I tell you another one too that you need to keep your eyes on is Alan Pittman and Mike Sward. They are so close. They they had a gremlin that's been holding them back for the last several races. And, you know, a lot of people I know is looking at them saying, why can't they get it down through there? Why can't they do that? They with a little something small, and I think they have found it. And I know what the engine is, and I know what it's capable of, and I know it's capable to be faster than all of them out there. So I look forward to seeing them join the ranks too. I tell you, the whole A-gas class, you know, everybody's running with. Oh, I left out one. We got Todd Blackwell coming back to the race. This is going to be his first race all season. I mean, since Shady Side last year, he's got his new power plant in there. So looking for things from him too. I mean, there's just so many. You know, you got Barry Lynn, you can't rule out. You got Dean Jonas that'll cut a tree on you. There's so many of them. You know, Ray Blue's been at almost every race. I mean, I can't sit here and name all of them. I forget some of them, but it's just I don't know, man. I'm just ready. I'm excited. If y'all can tell, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to load up. I would have been loading up here a while ago, but it come a little rainstorm. So I decided I'm just going to load up in the morning. I'll be leaving out Friday, be up there and get ready to go.
Well, you know, we've covered A-gas pretty well.
Yes.
And looking into different categories, C-gas is a class that is loaded this weekend. I think they've got the most entries of any of our classes. They're above 20, I think.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, that's crazy.
And you know, and they're running on a razor wire there. I mean, Ernie Smith had a number 3 qualifying spot at Knoxville. This is going to be his 100th race.
Finally,
He is finally going to get there, and what an accomplishment! You know, we've given him all the accolades in the world, but you know, the man just does not quit. He is a consummate worker. He does not quit. He does not know the meaning of the word no. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have so much respect for Ernie, and now with Todd Hartel, with the motors under the hood for him, wouldn't it be a storybook ending if his 100th win could be, 100th start could be his second win here in the Southeast Gassers?
Oh, that would be awesome. I actually seen Hartel today for lunch also. He was there and I talked with him. And yeah, that would just be, I mean, for what Ernie does, you know, you hear the grassroots racer, you hear that term, well, this person's got more money than this person, so he's going to be the fastest. But Ernie does it on a string budget. I mean, and he does everything that he does. It's amazing. He's been in, I think I'm right, David, 2 finals this year out of the 3 races we've got to run. I think I'm telling you, I might be wrong. He might have went out in semifinals last one. I can't remember. But I know he was in the finals at the first race at South Georgia, I think. But yeah, super proud of Ernie. He does put in the time, and he's a big supporter of the Southeast Gassers, and he's out there plugging us and doing everything that he can do, and he really does good for his sponsors. He has a lot of sponsors, but he does them a great job because he makes sure they're out there, and he does stuff special for them. Goes to their restaurant, sets up, you know, signs autograph for kids, let kids sit in the car. I mean, I don't know. You can't. I'm gonna sit here and get on a soapbox on him. You know, afraid he might call and ask me out or something. So I'm gonna let it be at that.
You'd be buying dinner.
Yeah,
for sure.
it's going to be exciting to see Ernie get that 100th start, and he is a great supporter of the Southeast Gas Association. I would say that most of the competitors, they are extreme supporters of what they are doing, or they wouldn't really be in it because it's so different within the world of drag racing. To commit to have a car that is SEGA legal is a huge commitment and a lot of work. And if you are SEGA legal, then it can be challenging to just take your hot rod to anywhere and compete it. You are really very much locked in to competing in the world of Southeast Gases Association drag racing. So it is a unique racer base. And then the fan base. What a great fan base that we've got in SEGA racing. And I know many of them are going to be there early at Brainerd Motorsports Park to see the racing that we will have this weekend in northern Georgia. Leslie, anything else?
Yeah, well, you know, I was up at Iola Car Show I think it was 2 weekends ago, and I happened to be in there with Paul of the Fallout Drag, talked with those guys too, and he was talking about getting the cars SEGA legal. He's talking about working on his Corvette, trying to get it SEGA legal and come and doing some runs with us too. I hope some of those guys will come down and join us. I'm going to try to go up there next year and do a little bit of stuff with them also. This a great bunch of guys up there, you know, and the type of running they do is as cool as what we do. You know, every racing is cool in its own right of what it does. And so not saying nothing's no better or no worse than the other one. So anytime that you can get out there and make memories with family and get to the tracks, support your local tracks and stuff, I think it's cool and I think it's great. And I look forward to maybe doing something with some of those guys this next year. I mean, there's always talking about trying to make a couple of races, and he's been talking with the Joker about helping him get his car SEGA legal. And I know I bet a lot of those cars is closer to the SEGA legal than what they think. I mean, naturally we can't run the automatics in those superchargers, but I bet it wouldn't take a whole lot to get those cars legal. I mean, the Corvette that Paul's got, I swear we could have that car legal in, you know, just a couple of days. I mean, it's that close.
I think that's the case. There are more gassers across the country that it wouldn't take much for them to actually be SEGA legal and them compete at their closest Southeast Gassers Association race, though they might not be able to compete on the entire tour, and that grow the field and grow also the camaraderie and between fellow gasser racers. I bet if they look into it, they're closer than they think. Like, I'd love to see the guy with the Ford Cammer gasser come out. That would be great.
Jacobs.
Love to see him compete.
Jeff Jacobs.
Yeah.
Man, I love that car, Lee. That's one of my favorite cars whenever I even started Southeast Gassers. And I told him when I seen him, I don't remember the last race I seen him at, I went up and told him, I said, Jeff, this is one of the coolest cars. This is one of the ones that I remember whenever I first come to those SEGA races. I think it was in 17. He was at Shadyside, you know, and it's a Ford too, you know, and I was like, that is a freaking cool car. That thing went down through there, and I was like, man, that thing is flying, you know. Numbers was a little different, you know, 10 years ago than they are now. But he told me, he's going to tell you something too. You don't know this, but this car here is copied after your car. So anyway, so that was pretty cool to know. So, and if you got to get to looking at it, I think Quayne had given some pointers on stuff, the roll bars, everything in that car. If I was sitting in that car, it looks very, very similar to mine inside. So that was pretty cool. But I do love that car, and I tell you, he's a heck of a body man too. He does some pretty work on some paint and stuff up there. I'd love to have him and his family back. And
got a up and coming little go-karter there in Xander. You know, we watched him from the time he was a year old, and now he's 7-8 years old out there competing. And so I think a lot of their time is devoted to him, and he's doing real well in the go-karting.
Yeah. And he's got a Camaro he's working on too for his wife, which is a little soft spot in my heart, you know, 60. I think they're doing a 68. I love both 67s and 68s. So
yeah.
Well, Leslie, look, we look forward to seeing you at the track there in Ringgold, Georgia, Brainerd Motorsports Park, just south of Chattanooga, but yet still in Georgia. So we're going to have a good time in the Peach State. It's going to be peachy. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank y'all. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Thank you for the comments. I can't see them without putting my glasses on, and I swear if I put my glasses on, I look like David. So I'm going to leave them off, and I'll look at them when I get off of here. I'll see all y'all this weekend. Everybody have safe travels. Looking forward to it. We're going to have a good one. See y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Horn. We're going to switch gears one more time. Again, the official racing transmission for the Southeast Gassers Association is G-Force Transmissions. This word from Brainerd Motorsports, and we'll give a brief look at the points and get set up to go into the Southern Nationals.
Brainerd Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Brainerd Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Brainerd insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Brainerd even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Brainerd Motorsports Insurance today.
All right, we're going to take the time, roll through the points, and these may come up random. We'll take them random, and we'll look at who is on top. And we haven't had a race since Knoxville, so looking forward to get back to it. Let's take a look at the points right now. Super stock. Imagine that, Jerry Dean on top. And you've got to wonder, just like I mentioned with H-Gas earlier, right now Jerry is dominating. Who has gone into the shop and really put the work in that might be a challenger here at the next race this very weekend, the Southern Nationals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can step up. He's got quite the lead, and somebody's got to start getting the work in right now. If they don't, it could be a runaway here real quick.
Yeah, I don't see, and of course, I don't know a lot of the, we don't have a lot of super stock racers right here in this upstate South Carolina area. So I don't know who's putting in work. It will tell on the racetrack, but it's hard to believe that anybody's going to outwork Karen Mitchell and Jerry Dean as they continue to just have a stranglehold on the points right now.
That they do. Moving right along, we'll go ahead and take a look at AGAS. We just got done talking with the points leader, Mr. Leslie Horn, but it is tighter in the AGAS category. There are certainly many with still the time and the capability of getting to the top before season end. And then I find it interesting with Leslie mentioning that Todd Blackwell is coming back out with Slingshot. I mean, that's an individual that has in the past won multiple races. He has qualified number one many times. He is a good racer and could be someone that, though might not be able to fight for a championship in 2025, he can play spoiler to those that are attempting to do so.
Also, don't forget he's our a world champion as well in B gas. He won a world championship in B gas in 2018, and I guarantee you, Todd is not going to come out unless he has every gun loaded to win this race.
Yeah, there's some good heavy hitters, and nice to hear some of these cars are getting their act together and finding that consistency. It's going to be a fun day in A class for sure. And, I like I said, I like Ben Christopher's chances. He's long overdue, has been there several times during this season, and it's got to be time to break through, right?
It does. And you look at the points here, Leslie Horn could very well not be on top just from Knoxville.
Yes.
At Knoxville, again, he was not the quickest and fastest. Rather quicker was Chase Howard. Rather quicker was Ben Christopher. Rather quicker was Barry Adler. And all those people went down to Leslie. So you look at Chase, you look at Ben, they could very well be on top just from the conclusion of Knoxville if it went differently than it did. So we got a good battle right now in AGAS. Moving along, we'll go into the B-gas category. And I have a sneaky suspicion, gentlemen, that as we started this year, we were talking about the young guns, Michael Oden, Briley Stott, and rightfully so. But I think Ken Rainwater might begin walking away with this thing. He seems poised to do it.
And I guarantee you they've been putting in the practice time down there. They've been wearing Holiday Beach out. He and Oden, as well as Todd Oden with his Seagas car. Alan Lovelady's done a little bit of testing in super stock, but Ken Rainwater, he's not going to take any moments off. His pedigree in racing, he's won so much. He knows what it takes. And you may be right there, Lee. This may be the time for him to stretch that lead out over Ted McKee if McKee stumbles just the least little bit.
Yeah, you're right about that. He's going to definitely come guns blazing for sure, and it's not going to be easy to knock him off that pedestal. Like another class with a great group of cars, but yeah, he's going to be tough.
And the top four there have really separated themselves from the rest of the field in B gas. I mean, you see Michael Oden with 90 points, and then Kelvin Cannon sits in fifth with 65. So they have those four have separated themselves, but it may come down to just a two-horse race here with the past two world champions in Ken Rainwater and Ted McKee.
Yes, this race, I think, with now the shortened than originally intended schedule for the Southeast Gases Association due to weather as it has plagued us this year, well, it's critical. and you need to make a move in Georgia. Georgia needs to be on your mind to do well this Southern Nationals this weekend. Absolutely, for sure. Moving on to CGAS. Wow. We have so many categories that are so competitive, but there are some fascinating storylines in this category right now. Ernie, obviously, as we have mentioned, he's about to do his 100th Southeast Gas Association start. He's running exceptionally well. I mean, he's got 0 wins, but yet there he is, tied technically with Jaron Purdue at the top, who has a race win, and Alfred Adams there in the 3rd position. And then, well, we're all wondering, can Mr. Odin, with all of the challenges he's had this year, can he find the performance? Does he have the performance to make a late season charge and be in championship play come Shadyside?
Yes. Yeah. Very simple answer there. He has the bullets for the gun.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I love this. I love all of this right here with all the classes, but this is going to be very fun and really something to intensely watch here because, there's no quit. There's no quit in Odin. So if they stumble this weekend, he could easily put himself in striking distance to make a run.
Duchesne, you're exactly right. I mean, the top of the board right there, Jaron Purdue, he's got the car that can perform with Odin. You throw Tim Hall in there, he could be a wild card that could knock either Purdue or, Odin out early if that were to be the case. Something like that. Odin can't stumble. He's got to be consistent. And he has that ability, but just the least little bit could really put Purdue or Smith right over the top and him not have a chance to catch up, even with the double race in Florida.
Yeah.
I meant Mississippi. I'm sorry.
HGAS. Well, at the top is Robert Frazier, and that is no shocker with 2 wins on the season. But there is that 1 win in another name, and that is Colby Welch coming out with that Pontiac combination, the little Indian, and I think turning the class on its head after that one event. And though Colby Welch has 35 points to his credit right now, and Robert Frazier is well far ahead, it really becomes if Colby meets Robert early type of situation, how does this class open up somewhere even like the Southern Nationals?
That is something that I was thinking about too. And do you then play the ladder game a little bit to try to get yourself a matchup with him early, to take him out early, to help yourself? And I know that's hard to do, but weirder things have happened.
Well, it is hard to do, but we've seen it before in the Southeast Gassers, especially in the super stock category when Mark Hackett was trying to catch Robert Peffley. That's about all he could do. And he tried to do that, and I think did it successfully, ending up with a tie one year for the top spot, but Robert Peffley had held the lead longer and gotten there first. So that's how that one played out. But very difficult, but not unprecedented, even in the Southeast Gassers.
Yeah, there might be some taking some time and then passing the scales shenanigans coming up here in qualifying in that class. We will keep notice on that, certainly, in Brainerd. Well, last but certainly not least, AFX. And it's interesting because, points go with the driver. Todd Wimberly is atop. The car has earned the most points and 2 wins because Daniel Haynes was in the car and got the win. But we're going to see this category grow by those in it. And then from last race, most notably, though Daniel Haynes was able to pick up his first career win in AFX, though he's the defending B-Gas champion from 2024, Jeffrey Ferguson in the Wild Woolly Chevy 2, they really showcased performance, leading performance. And if they can put it all together round by round, they are certainly, I think, favorites no matter where they show up.
For sure. But, I love the fact that they're racing in Georgia this weekend, because you look at all top 4 of those guys right there, 4 out of the 5 racers, they're all from the Peach State of Georgia. So you say what you want. Every race is very important to these guys, but it might mean just a little bit more to take it home in front of your home crowd. And so there's going to be some guys going for it this weekend. And I think AFX is going to be a great class to see it in.
Yeah, definitely. All of these cars are great, and the action has been great all year, and I don't expect anything less. And throw in the home cooking here, it's going to make it even more elevated in competition here this weekend.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking forward to this next race, the Rumbled in Ringgold, the Southern Nationals, presented by Harbin's Mechanical there at Brainerd Motorsports Park. Look, we're going to race. It's going to get in one way or the other. You just plan on being there. And by the way, if you're not able to make it to Brainerd Motorsports Park this weekend, then be on the outlook. Jackson Dragway, first time ever making a visit that far west in the state of Tennessee for the Hub City Hullabaloo. Action going down August 22nd and 23rd. And then we're back to Old Rocky Top, Knoxville Dragway, for Mountain Madness, September 19th and the 20th. We're going to have some great racing action here in the southeastern United States. It is about to go down, and you do not want to miss out on any of the action on these upcoming races that are going to be so critical going into what has become possibly one of the most, if not the most important race in Southeast Gas Association, I dare say history, because it's going to be 2 races on one weekend, and that is down there at the racecation destination of Gulfport Dragway in Gulfport, Mississippi. It's going to be on, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned in. And, by the way, you're going to be able to be tuned in more than ever.
I like it. It's going to be fun, man. That's going to be a big one, though. That's going to be a big one for the season.
Yeah, I'm totally jacked about that one already, making plans to be there. Dugenais, you got to be there, dude.
I will be there.
There is no missing that race. First-class hospitality, first-class racing facility, first-class fans. It is just over the top. And any of our other fans, you got to get down there and see this thing. And plus, you got Cruising the Coast down there with some of the greatest hot rods going.
Yeah. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a blast there. Gentlemen, it was a blast right here on SEGA Live. To everyone that tuned in, thank you for watching and commenting. Please be sure to hit the like button and the share button. We'll see you at the SEGA Drags this weekend, Brainerd Motorsports Park. Until next time, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal. SEGA Live, out. Harbin's Mechanical serves Atlanta, Georgia, and its metro area. From the big jobs downtown to the jobs in your hometown of the suburbs, they are your #1 source for your HVAC and refrigeration needs in Atlanta and its metro area. Stay cool in Hotlanta with Harbin's Mechanical Services.